Hello, you've come to Strawberries. I hope you're having a lovely day. Welcome back to the Disney Drawing Challenge, hosted by Crazy Comic Lady, Sambeawesome, and yours truly. Today I'm working on prompt 7, most memorable Disney death. There's there really is no good segue into this. I'm just gonna I will say this before I get into the drawing itself and the prompt and why I picked who I picked. If you would like to follow along, even after July passes and you're watching this in the distant future, you can search the hashtag Disney Drawing Challenge 2017. If you want, you could follow the list of prompts. It's it's open to everybody, and we've been just enjoy. All three of us have just been enjoying watching everyone create their pieces and share them, and it's just been wonderful. There have been so many feels with this prompt in particular. So yeah, I highly recommend you check out the tag on Instagram and just anywhere else if you feel like looking. There's some fantastic art. Just saying. Okay, so for this prompt, I decided to pick Bambi's mother's death for multiple reasons. First of all, I'm just gonna come out and say it. It was the first thing that came to mind when I thought most memorable Disney death. It was, definitely in line with the most shocking of Disney deaths, and that just the shock value in general is like, whoa. But in real life, actually, because I actually live on, I wouldn't say it's necessarily like rural area because I do technically live in a city, but the neighborhood I live in has quite a bit of land that has not been built upon. So there's like an acre, like on our property, there's an acre of land. And recently, and when I say recent, I mean as I'm recording this video within like the past month or so, there was this doe that has been visiting, and a couple of times I would see her, like she would be eating or she would just sit in the shade for like a half an hour and then she would just jump the fence and go about her business. And then one day it was raining and it was maybe, I want to say it was the early morning, but she was walking around again and I noticed there was another deer behind her. And then I noticed it was another smaller deer. It turns out she had two fawns. She had two babies and they had spots. And I was like, Bambi! It's amazing too because we have bunnies in our backyard. We have a groundhog that visits and then another groundhog that actually lives in the backyard. We get plenty of birds visiting, and we've had at least one fox. I've never seen the fox, but my mother has seen him while she's leaving for work in, the early morning. But just we get a lot of woodland creatures, and it really is like a Disney set back there. It's it's something crazy. So I definitely kind of wanted to do kind of this picture as an ode to them, and it's also I really like too how they know we're there. They do know. Like the mother has made eye contact with me multiple times. And one time I was going into the backyard and actually caught her staring at me. I didn't even know she was there because it was like 11 and close to the afternoon. So I was like, "What?" But she just went back about her business and it really felt magical to me. So I just wanted to kind of put this as an ode, but it's like I want her to know she's safe, she can bring her babies. And yeah, it's been really sweet watching them. It's like one of the highlights of my day. And to get into the piece, I wanted to go with kind of like a roundish composition with the branches and twigs in their, I guess you could say, their little den. Um, I really like how in the scene when Bambi runs back into the den and turns around and it's like, we made it, mother, we made it. And then there's this moment, like it's a complete shift. And because we're seeing it through Bambi's perspective, like with the camera shot, we're kind of like almost over the shoulder. Like the moment he feels something, we are like, oh no. It's like that was kind of the moment I wanted to base this on, because I did watch a little bit after where he's going through the forest and heavily snowing, and then the buck, which turns out to be his father, is like, "Your mother can't be with you anymore." Um, like, I really did, like, oh gosh, that gets me emotional whenever I see that, but, I really liked that, but I really wanted to go for the moment, especially because those branches looked really, really ominous too, because especially in the beginning, the whole movie in general. I remember as a kid, there was something about that. The movie never felt the same to me. And I've only watched a Bambi maybe a handful of times in my life. Like Lion King, watched a ton of times. Little Mermaid, my sister loved Little Mermaid, so of course we watched it like dozens of times. Beauty and the Beast, my favorite movies, I've watched that dozens of times. And just, a lot of the other movies I'd watched so many times, but Bambi in particular, I just had this really weird feeling about it. And I could just tell that there was something off. It's like, I don't know, because Crazy Comic Lady had talked about this in her video about how Disney kind of portrayed the deaths in a way that would actually help prepare kids. And I never thought about that because when a family member dies, it really feels like it's like you're a chair and then somebody just rips one of the legs out from underneath and everything feels off. You can't sit and be centered. You have to like it's like you're leaning forward or it's just things fall apart and what hurts the most is that you have to keep moving forward. And with that scene when Bambi is like he cries for a moment and then the fox just like you have to come with me, so he looks back and it's like you leave that whole phase of your life where that's someone was a part of it behind, and it's really heartbreaking because yeah, she was right. I've never really seen that in a lot of more recent Disney films, and it's so crucial and masterful. Like I didn't even realize how groundbreaking that was as a kid. But yeah, I felt I had some feels with this, needless to say. And I think I'll show you guys a little bit of I'll try and show pictures, maybe a little bit of camera footage, but um with the deer and her babies in my backyard. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you're enjoying the challenge, again, just search the hashtag Disney Drawing Challenge 2017. I highly recommend you check out Sam and CCL's playlist. I will have links to them in the description as well. Um, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys can tune in for prompt number 8. Until next time.